Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Spotify. However you're listening to my voice, I appreciate it. I hope everything's coming in well. I hope it's coming in good. I'm looking at my levels here. They're looking okay. I wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out from all the rest of the shows. I'm caught up. I watched NXT. I watched Dynamite. I watched Smackdown. I watched Rampage. I even watched Collision a few minutes ago. I'm going to AEW Revolution tomorrow night, so I wanted that to be kind of like a standalone show. But, you know, in order for that to be a standalone show, I guess we have an action-packed show here, an old school one. I've been trying to keep them to 20-25 minutes, but I think this one might be a little longer because we're going to go into all of it here. Dragunov, the NXT champion, out there with Mello. Mello comes out with security to discuss the world title. They get interrupted by D'Angelo, the Don. Snaps his fingers and the security guards that Mello comes out with leave. And then you got D'Angelo versus Mello, number one contender. D'Angelo says when it comes to NXT championship, Mello says this, I guess, he is the Don. And that's when the Don goes after him and ends up knocking down the actual champion in the process. Mello puts him through a table, so it looks like the Don is out there fucking things up, you know. Getting in the way of Mello and Dragunov's business and paying for it by getting put through a table. And it looks like he's got beef with maybe Dragunov as well. He knocked Dragunov over. That wasn't the only thing that happened on NXT, of course. Ridge Holland out there cutting a promo. Lights go out. We start seeing the same graphic from the video packages, the cryptic writing and everything. The same video package that people thought was going to be Okada. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be Okada, but I didn't think it was going to be the chairman, the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, NXT legend. He attacks Ridge Holland, and then, yeah, the leaving AEW to sign to NXT. I can't believe it. I don't know what the deal is there. I mean, he seemed to be really good, like pre-Dynamite AEW. And then he went on to wrestle in the Pinnacle. And then, like, I guess he was Cody's boy. I think he also had some passport issues. And didn't really seem to, be someone of note in AEW the past, like, year or so. And then now he pops up on NXT, where we kind of always liked him best, I feel like, as a wrestling community. He came up as the Perfect 10. They brought him in to the WWE main roster, and he kind of, floated around a bit until he got released, and then he ended up in AEW. We had a tag team match as well. Inoue, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, and Blade versus the Good Brothers. Two athletic younger guys versus two larger veterans. So they're bumping and feeding. They're doing everything. This made for a good NXT match. It was, mid. It was mid pretty much. It seemed good, but it didn't end up being that good. Good Brothers won handedly. Chase U not impressed. They come out through the crowd. And Axiom and Frazier come out to the crowd. But just as this, was all taking place, the Good Brothers were distracted by LWO coming off the top rope to attack them from behind as the Wolf Dogs watched from the balcony. So kind of setting the tone here for, a good NXT tag division. You got some guys coming down from the main roster. You got some guys from NXT UK coming over a few years ago. You got some NXT post black and gold era standouts in Chase U, and then you got the world champions, the Wolf Dogs. I think this is the best tag division in WWE right now. SmackDown, Raw, I think they're not as deep of a tag roster as these guys are. Good Brothers find the War Dogs in the back. They start jaw-jacking, but that's all we really get of the tag team division. We had a lot of women's action. Kalana Jordan versus Kiana James. Izzy Dame gets involved, only to get her ass springboard moonsaulted on with James. But then later on, Izzy pulls her down, landing on the apron. Kiana James gets the win, all because of that no good, rotten Jezebel, as Dusty Rhodes would say it. Roxanne versus Jakarta Jackson, the other girl in Metaphor, other than Lash Legend. Lash gets thrown to the back there, and then Roxanne taps her out with a crossface. Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley want to challenge the Kabuki Warriors on the WWE main roster. They're just as good of a, I would say, a tag team as any. Why not bring them up? Gigi Dolan versus Jayada Parker. Grace comes out, jumps on the apron, gets headbutted from Dolan, but Parker ends up getting the win because of that distraction. Happens a lot. Happened here. NXT Heritage Cup, Dempsey versus gets the first fall here. Miles Bourne comes out, takes out Metaphor, Gulak on the apron, allowing there to be a distraction, and Dempsey gets the 1-2-3. Dempsey beats Noam Dar to win the Heritage Cup. That was crazy to me. I can't believe I saw that. So now I think Metaphor is going to slowly become Lash Legends group here. No real gold, no real prestige, other than the momentum that Lash Legend has. Much like Mommy and Judgment Day, much like Rhea Ripley and Judgment Day. Dijak versus Luca Crucifino. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Never seen Luca. Dijak got the victory, which is interesting because I think Dijak's contract is up a little bit here. But then Joe Gacy comes running out, breaks out of the sane asylum in a straitjacket and everything. Luca attacks Dijak after this crazy moment here. Where does his allegiance lie? No one knows. Lexis King versus Von Wagner. Lexis King going after the leg, ends up getting the boot though. Goes outside, attacks Mr. Stone. Von Wagner checks him. Lexis goes after the leg again. Stone on the apron. Von with the roll up 1-2-3. Lexis gets the L, which I was surprised over, and then he attacks Von Wagner after the match, and then Mr. Stone. So a lot of distraction finishes in NXT. They kind of went to that a few too many times. It seems like every match was a distraction finish of some sort, and it was not that good of a show because of it. I've seen NXT do a little better. Other than that tag division, I was stoked on the tag division. I was stoked on the main event. The big stuff they did right, but the filler was exactly that. But speaking of filler, almost filled 40 minutes of television, and it was not filler, I would say. I thought it was pretty good. The Rock and Roman Reigns respond to Cody Rhodes. The Bloodline, led by Roman, come out without The Rock at first. Roman out there getting the fans to acknowledge him, and then they go to break. When they come back from break, The Rock comes out with a ridiculously looking shirt here. Are you guys sure you want to boo The Rock? Some were sure. Some were booing The Rock, but others were cheering for The Rock. They couldn't believe that a star like that was in their presence. And then he says that Phoenix, Arizona is the #1 city for cocaine and meth use in America. They cheered. They seemed all hyped up. They're probably on some of that shit right now. And to answer Cody's question, he says no. He says you don't just go one-on-one with the Great One. He says some ladies in attendance want to go one-on-one with the Great One, and some of them cheer. A lot of them cheer there. He says, easy there, you crackhead Karens. And then he issues a tag match challenge that we all kind of heard the rumor for. Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. They say they want an answer next week in Dallas, and Cody's probably going to be in Dallas. Says he's on the board and no one can tell him what to do, including Triple H. Light Triple H chants, if you smell, and then it gets cut off. Holy shit chants start because Roman Reigns cuts The Rock off and says Roman needs to ask him something. He needs The Rock to acknowledge him. The Rock stares at him for a little while. Place goes nuts just from this stare. The Rock takes off his shades. Roman, my family, I'll acknowledge you as my tribal chief. The place gasps a little bit. They do a cool handshake, this hug handshake thing that you see guys do. You sold out chance. It's like, what? I didn't get that when you sold out. He says that his family and that, pretty much Phoenix go home and smoke your crack. I love that shit. That was hilarious to me. I do think, though, everyone wants Roman and Rock to... Well, we want Roman and Cody. It seems like the wrestling world wants to see Roman versus Cody Reigns. Cody finishes story. But I think we also, at least for me, for a while now, I've wanted to see... I think since WrestleMania 32, really, I've been kind of wanting to see Rock versus Roman Reigns. You got this tag match. There could be tension that builds in the tag match that leads to the match the second night, and then you could have, The Rock turn on Roman drop the title to Cody, and then you have Rock versus Roman. Because let's be honest here, The Rock and Roman is going to be a better build than a match. So you want to have that build through a few months on television rather than just one big match at WrestleMania. So I like how they're doing. I like how they ended up there. This segment was great. I don't care. It could have taken up all 2 hours. I wouldn't have given a shit. Braun Breaker versus Xia Quinn. The siren echoes through the arena like his uncle. When he comes out, hits a huge spear, and Braun looks like a star here, getting the 1-2-3 really quickly. They need a Braun here. They need someone to push. But I worry because the last guy who got a big win like this was Cameron Grimes beating Baron Corbin a few weeks ago, and now we never see Cameron Grimes, but Baron Corbin ended up holding gold on NXT. So, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? They could decide to not push him as easily as they bring him up. Breaker debuted. Ray returned. Saving Carlito, coming out in crutches. Psych, he didn't need the fucking crutches. He was bullshitting. Ends up using the crutches to beat his enemy's ass and chase him in the back. Wearing a wild-looking mask. Looked like Reddick from the old TNA days. LWO standing tall. Randy Orton versus Austin Theory. RKO out of nowhere. Waller tries to attack Randy, but Kevin Owens cuts him off. And Waller ends up getting an RKO as well. LA Knight looking everywhere for AJ Styles, and almost at the end of the night, Aldis is like, he's not here. Why didn't anyone else tell LA Knight that AJ Styles wasn't there? Of course, LA Knight looking for AJ Styles after being attacked in Australia over last weekend. Tiffany versus Naomi. Tiffany won, and I saw some people were upset by this, but she got a huge pop at Perth, and you can kind of see some star power. Naomi's been around a while. I know they just brought her back, but she's been around in the WWE scene for a while. And plus, the prettiest moonsault ever is a sick-looking finisher, even though it's a ripoff of Christopher Daniels' best moonsault ever. Dakota Kai rope-a-doped Bayley. Just when you thought that she had some friends, Dakota Kai turned her back on her, ditching her in the tag match. Real shitty thing to do. They were laughing about it in the back, and then they came across Jade, and they all stopped in their tracks. All just wanted to talk to Jade. We still don't know what Jade's doing on Smackdown, and we're going into Mania. Maybe Jade is Bayley's friend here. They kind of maybe hinted a little bit at that, a little foreshadowing. But let's go in to AEW. I watched Dynamite, I watched Rampage, and I watched Collision in that order, and we're going to talk about it in that order. We're going to be talking about kind of the things on Dynamite that I thought were important. The Bucks come out. One of Sting's fans in the audience. Everyone's wearing Sting masks. The Bucks know that Sting sometimes disguises himself as Sting, but this time Darby disguised himself as Sting, which was kind of interesting here. Darby ends up getting attacked 2-on-1. Ric Flair comes out. They're teasing a turn here, but then he pokes the eyes of Nicholas, fires shots at Matthew, but then Nicholas hits him with the low blow. So a lot of people are saying that they want Flair to turn on Sting one last time. I don't think that's going to be good. I think that would be really shitty storytelling, because they just got physical with Ric Flair here. They just low-blowed Ric Flair in front of thousands of people. So unless Ric Flair, it was all part of his plan to get kicked in the dick, which would be a stupid-ass plan. And then plus you have all the heat going on old-ass Ric Flair, where if the Young Bucks cheated in a different way, you would have all the heat going on the Young Bucks, which are like the current stars, the stars that will be around longer than Ric Flair. So I think that's what I would do personally if I was AEW, as I'm still checking my levels, trying to get good. Hopefully this sounds good. Hopefully it works for you guys, because I don't want to go back here. I've been going on for so long. I talked about NXT. I talked about Smackdown. I'm now talking about Dynamite here. I don't want to go back and re-record this. Sting's music hits. The Bucks go up to the top of the ramp thinking they're going to attack him. But no, he comes from the fucking rafters one last time. That was great to see. And he beats up the EVPs, which makes me think that he's laying down on Sunday. Will Ospreay arriving in AEW, lost his bags, wearing a green tracksuit. Love the tracksuit. People were saying that he looked like Kenny from the Spirit Squad, but that's not an insult in my opinion. Ken Doane is highly underrated and should have gotten a push way back in the day. So saying you look like Kenny from the Spirit Squad, that's over with me, bruv, as Will Ospreay would say, saying that he's rolling with the Callis family and everything's good. Callis then comes out. And I love this naiveness here. He puts over Will Ospreay, he puts over Takeshita, but he kind of doesn't realize that there's a competitive nature here between these two guys that are kind of taking over with this stare down. And this was really well done from Callis. Hangman comes out, seems to be not able to compete at Revolution, but just like Rey Mysterio, he was faking that shit. We'll get to that a little bit later. Swerve comes out right as Adam, is about to let us know the news. Swerve chants during this intense moment where we're supposed to, get this announcement that Adam Page is injured. People don't care. They think Swerve is cool. And then Joe comes out. Then Hangman kind of goes heel here, attacking Swerve with a crutch. I would say that they want you to forget that Swerve did all those home invasions to Nick Wayne and Hangman Page, but Swerve brought it up here, saying you got to remember that I'm the same guy that did all this shit. He's an evil guy, but then when he gets attacked, he gets sympathy. When he comes out, he gets the babyface pop. So I would have just let that go and slowly turned Hangman heel and let people forget about this home invasion thing. Am I the only one who remembers the home invasion? This is the man is going to have heel heat with me forever with these home invasions. I don't know. But Swerve, bringing all that up is just kind of confusing. We had Atlantis Jr., versus Chris Jericho. I remember I had a figure of Atlantis when I was a kid, and, I didn't really have a lot of, lucha figures, so he must be a pretty big deal if some kid in America has his merch. And it was it wasn't like a WCW figure or anything like that. He did throw in the towel, saving his son from Jericho, locking in the Lion's Tamer, and then after the end, he picks him up, show of respect. Blackpool Combat Club versus FTR and Kingston, setting up the Revolution match. Bryan knocked out Kingston with a submission, which makes me think that Eddie's going to win this match at the pay-per-view. Cassidy versus Nick Wayne. Cassidy wins, gets attacked by Strong. Not bad, not good, whatever. Statlander versus Sky Blue. Always good seeing Sky Blue. I think she got a tat blue on her arm. I don't remember seeing that a few weeks ago. Sky Blue beating the former TBS champion after Julia Hart hits Statlander with the TBS title for Sky Blue to get a pretty big win over a former champion. Going over to AEW Rampage, pretty skippable show, but a few things I want to talk about here because I kind of like wrestling, and I wanted to check out some of these CMLL guys. Claudio versus Rugido. He is a 24-year-old veteran starting in AAA, staying in Mexico until this match, it seems. Wasn't too impressed by him, and Claudio got the win. Rhea versus Trish Adora. Interesting matchup. Rhea won. What happened to this, those women divisions that we knew and loved from 2020? Rhea, Thunder Rosa, I know we saw her on Collision, but come on. Then Britt Baker, all not really doing too much, but were mainstays in this promotion. Like, what happened? Why isn't this women's division being built? It seems like it's like every 6 months it's just like a different women's division. I don't know. Matt Sydal and Magnus, CMLL superstar, been around since 2010 and bounced around in New Japan. Before this match, the winner gets an All-Star Scramble, and Magnus ends up winning, which surprised me. And now he's in the Scramble. Going over to Collision, the show I watched a few minutes ago. Going to go into my thoughts, and then I'm going to go into the matches here. Swerve promo, Hangman promo, Willow Nightingale promo, all happen to be really good for different reasons here, but the best promo of the night has to be Wardlow coming out to the ring, and he puts, he's in the scramble tag, but he's looking past the scramble tag, and he feels like he did a good job. I feel like he did a good job over the last week on the promo, and he does another good job here. He was super over 2 years ago, but people forgot about him, and he proved himself again, not in the ring, but on the mic this time. Why isn't this guy in the main event here? That's kind of what he's saying. Why isn't he not wearing an Undisputed Kingdom shirt? He's wearing a Wardlow shirt. He also says, he's also, get a lot more time here with MJF gone. I don't know if there's like real heat here, but it seems interesting here. He even brings up, the fact that he lost his best friend because of it. It was interesting because he was so pissed that he wasn't on TV. I digress here. Jericho comes out, says maybe you're not good enough, Mike. Like, that's why he's not on TV. Light Mike chants. Then Wardlow doesn't let that affect him. He goes into an even better promo than before. Hobbs attacks Jericho because Hobbs and Jericho are all in this scramble tag with Wardlow. They're kind of getting all that sorted out. We get a Serena Deeb promo. Wasn't she popular in the women's division as well? So, get something going here other than just one feud for the world title over and over again. It seems like, get something like a feud going that has nothing to do with the title or the TBS title. I don't think they've really ever done that. Really good video package from Kingston versus Danielson. Just as good of a one from Sting and Darby versus the Bucks. But then going into the matches here, Buddy Murphy comes out, gets attacked by Mark Briscoe before the match, and then he gets the spike. Brody runs in, stops the spike, followed by Malachi. But Mark, keeps them all at bay with the equalizer to the chair, and Brody and him, Buddy and him fight up the entrance, and Mark Briscoe is trying to light Buddy Matthews on fire because he has the controls of this pyro, like a fucking psycho here. But it was kind of cool, fire is cool, over and over fire is cool. It popped the crowd. Qualifying match for the All-Star Scramble. Pentagon versus Brian Keith versus Dante Martin. Fun match. Fear Factor on the apron, Destroyer from Martin on the apron. Dante then flies on Keith, 1, 2, 3, and he's in the scramble. Last guy in to make it in. Mariah May versus Angelica Risk. 15th AEW match here. Only been at this for 4 years and is on TV 15 times. Huge knee from Mariah May. Mayday, 1, 2, 3. But the story is, right as the music was playing, Toni Storm comes out, congratulates her, kind of ducks the hug and grabs the mic, stealing the spotlight, then calls out Deanna. Deanna comes out, trying to get out of this match on Sunday. This was pretty hilarious. Deanna hopes that she has a bidet, I was like, what? Because that it's going to be hard for her to wipe her ass with both of her arms broken. I thought that was hilarious here. Tony says, goodbye, old friend, tries to kiss Deonna Purrazzo, and Deonna attacks her. Mariah gets involved. Luther comes out, saves Tony, but doesn't save Mariah. Mariah ends up getting attacked and beaten up by Deonna Purrazzo. Dang. A rough night for Mariah May, even though she got the win. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang versus the Dark Order. Bullet Club stopping Caster from rapping for some reason. But then he fucks up the timing thing for the scissors, the scissoring thing, leading to Dark Order to get the upper hand. Johnny Hungy gets in Daddy Ass's face, and then he hits the Shakara special. Brought me back here. Platinum Max Caster though tags himself in, and gets the win here. Forget about the Undisputed Kingdom. I feel bad for even bringing it up here, but didn't they form because they all got attacked by the Devil People, and the Devil People are now the Undisputed Kingdom? Have we all forgotten that? It seems like we have. It seems like, the Undisputed Kingdom, Wardlow's not even wearing the Undisputed Kingdom shirt, and the Undisputed Kingdom is all attacking Orange Cassidy, even though there's no real reason that they should be doing that other than this title. I don't know. It seems all messed up here. Private Party versus Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels. Fun match. Kind of random, but still fun. Senton Cutter at the same damn time from Private Party. Angel's Wings, but then Jeff Jarrett and crew all come out to distract the ref. Jay Lethal runs in from behind, hits the lethal combination, and Private Party gets the 1, 2, 3, setting up the match that they're all in 0 Hour. There's like a 10-man tag at 0 Hour where Private Party's teaming with Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. Thunder Rosa versus Cassandra Golden. Been wrestling for 7 years. They said 5, but it's been 7. I looked it up, and she's been in Championship Wrestling from Memphis, and then way back in 2020, she was on Impact. Huge stomp from Thunder, and then she chokes her out. Thunder gets the victory. Big 8-man tag to end Collision. Garcia, Hook, Trent, Cassie versus Strong, Christian, Brian Cage, and Killswitch. I mean, I don't know, man. I watched this whole show, and it was at this point I realized that this shit was all skippable. Like, you could have had just like a big video package to send us home, getting me hyped for the pay-per-view, rather than this 8-man tag. You could have done the 8-man tag in the body of the show or something like that. The video packages were good. The promo was good. Wardlow was the best part of the show. But this match kind of did hook me at the end here. Huge backbreaker from Roderick Strong, catching Cassidy in midair from a dive attempt. Heels get the victory, and the heels just all respectively beat on the faces of their choosing, the faces that they're in a match with at Revolution. So I'm pretty excited about Revolution tomorrow. Sting's last match. One of my first words as a baby was Sting. My mom tells me all the time, whenever Sting was on the television when I was a small baby, I would go, "Ting, mommy, ting, ting, mommy, ting." I would always let my mother know that Sting was on the channel. Even though my mom was not a wrestling fan, she didn't really care. She liked the Mega Powers, and she liked Goldberg, and she liked John Cena. Those were the 3 things that she cared about in the course of wrestling history. She did not care about Sting. I cared about Sting, but for some reason I wanted to let her know. In my crib, I liked Sting. When I was a kid growing up, who was I for Halloween? I was fucking Sting. In 1996, Fall Brawl, NWO Sting versus WCW Sting. I believed in Sting. I was there in attendance. It was in Winston-Salem. 2007, I go all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. It's like a 5 to 7 hour drive, I forget, to see Sting wrestle Christopher Daniels on a TNA show. I've gone to several wrestling conventions to meet Sting. I saw Sting team with CM Punk. My other favorite of all time, a few years ago in the Greensboro Coliseum for AEW, I went to see Sting's last match in Charlotte in January. So, I mean, I feel like I am a Stinger, born and bred. My password to my computer and my logins most of the time have something to do with Sting. That's too big. That's too much of a hint that I said publicly. But I just want you guys to get the gist that I am a fucking Stinger here, and I'm gonna be in attendance, and I'm gonna bring a tissue. Fly high. I'm out.